The Vanderbeekers of 141st Street, Chapter 11. But let's talk about Chapter 10. Remember, the kids were eavesdropping on Mom, and they found out that the realtor is going to show the apartment tomorrow, and they're not supposed to be there. And then Oliver's worried about someone sleeping in his room, and then they say that they'll probably turn it back into a closet. And then the dad says, let's go get a Christmas tree, and then Mama can finish the packing or keep going on the packing. So they go to Mr. Ritchie, the place where Papa went when he was a kid, and he's such a nice guy, but it takes half an hour to walk there, and then they have an idea of what kind of tree they want. But then remember, Lainey picked one that sounds like it's like the Charlie Brown tree, kind of weird and has a lot of spaces and stuff like that. So then they bring it back. Oh, and they get two trees. Remember, Lainey had them buy one for their neighbors, Miss Josie and Mr. Jeet. And then they took it home, and then they decorated it. And that's it. Okay, Chapter 11. That night, when all the kids were in bed, Mama and Papa sat in the living room holding thick ceramic mugs filled with hot chocolate spiced with cayenne and cinnamon. They gazed at the twinkling tree and relaxed into the peace of the evening. Remember when Oliver was 4 and woke up early on Christmas and came downstairs and unwrapped every present under the tree looking for the train set? Papa asked. Mama laughed. Yeah, Jessie and Isa were so mad. I don't think I've ever seen Jessie's face that shade of red. They didn't speak to him for a whole week, but I don't even think Oliver noticed. He was too busy with those trains, Papa said. Mama sipped her hot chocolate. I always imagined living here forever. I thought Jessie and Isa would leave for prom from here. We would take a photo of them right there. Mama pointed to a spot next to the large picture window by the front door. Papa frowned. Our daughters aren't allowed a date until after college, right? Mama ignored him. I always thought the kids would spend their entire childhoods here. You know, having the same type of childhood you had, being supported by the neighborhood, knowing everyone by name. Real estate is changing, Papa said. An apartment that holds all of us and has a position for a super doesn't come up anymore. What about rentals without a superposition? Can we afford that? Mama asked. Papa shook his head. I've been looking at our budget. I can't make the numbers work. The discounted rent for my superintendent duties makes a huge difference. I could expand my business, make more cakes and macaroons or something, Mama said, her mind already working on how to manufacture more hours in her day. Papa shook his head. Hun, we're both working too much already. Mama laid her head on Papa's shoulder. I hate to bring this up, but what about Ottenville? I'm sure my parents would be thrilled about that. There was a long pause. I don't know, Papa said miserably. I've lived here all my life. Our jobs are here. What about Isa and Mr. Van Houten? The kids and their school? Mr. Jeet and Miss Josie? Papa stared into his mug. It would be really hard to start all over. I know, but it might be our only option. Should we tell the kids what's going on? Mama hesitated before speaking. Let's wait. Let them have a few more days of peace before we break the news. She caught herself. If we have to break the news. Mama and Papa were so engrossed in their own thoughts and conversation that they didn't hear the 2 sets of footsteps pitter-patter down the upstairs hallway. Oliver, wake up now! Go away, whoever you are. It's me, Hyacinth. You have to get up. Emergency meeting. Oliver opened one eye. Hyacinth had climbed up onto his loft bed, and her face was 2 inches away from his. Lainey was standing on the ground with her blanket in her hand and a thumb in her mouth. Before Oliver could fully wake up, he found himself being led from his warm bed and into Jessie and Isa's room. Isa, wake up! Hyacinth pried open one of her sister's eyelids. What the? Isa batted away Hyacinth's hand and rolled toward the wall. Jessie shot up out of bed. What's going on? Is there a fire? Grab Isa's violin. No fire, but Hyacinth says it's an emergency, Oliver said, collapsing onto the carpet and leaning against Jessie's bed. His eyelids drifted closed. This is so important, said Hyacinth, walking to the window and yanking aside the heavy curtains so a beam of light from the street lamp fell right across Isa's bed. I was taking Lainey to the bathroom and we overheard Mama and Papa talking downstairs. Close the curtains, please, moaned Jessie. Wait a second. Isa rolled back toward her siblings, squinting against the harsh lamplight. Lainey wakes you up in the middle of the night when she has to go to the bathroom? It's 'cause of the monsters, Lainey said matter-of-factly. They have big mouths and sharp teeth and gobble me up if I go into the bathroom by myself. Lainey demonstrated by opening her mouth and chomping down. Note to self, Jessie murmured, put nightlight in the bathroom. Nightlights don't work, Hyacinth informed her. Lainey shook her head, her curls bouncing around her. The not nice monsters use nightlights to trick me. Note to self, Jessie said, never share a room with Lainey. Oliver had since fallen back to sleep, but woke himself up when he toppled over sideways onto the rug. Hyacinth sighed loudly. Does anyone want to know what Lainey and I overheard? Jessie looked at the two sisters. Lainey was not known for being a reliable interpreter of conversations. Hyacinth was slightly better, but sometimes the facts still got jumbled. Mama said something about prom, Lainey reported. What's a prom? Suspicions confirmed. Unreliable witnesses. Jessie mumbled. Prom is like 1,000,000 years away. She lay back down on her bed and pulled the comforter over her head. Listen! Listen, Hyacinth said, stomping her foot. Mama and Papa are thinking about not staying in the neighborhood. We're leaving Harlem. Isa, Jessie, and Oliver suddenly looked more awake. No way, Oliver said obstinately. Papa said we were going to stay in the neighborhood. I remember. Hyacinth shook her head. They said we have to move to Ottenville. What? That's crazy. Ottenville? That's like 4 hours away by car. We don't even have a car, Jessie said. Cars are expensive, Lainey notified them. Papa said the apartments here cost too much, Hyacinth added. Isa crossed her arms. How would I get to my violin lessons with Mr. Van Houten if we lived in Ottenville? You would need a new violin teacher. Someone who lives in Ottenville, Jessie said. Impossible, said Isa. I can't have anyone teach me but Mr. Van Houten. Will Miss Josie and Mr. G come with us? Asked Lainey. Probably not, said Isa. They have family here in New York City. I don't think they know anyone in Ottenville. They'll know us, Lainey said, pouting. We're family. It could be worse, said Isa. We could be going to I don't know, Siberia or something. Jimmy L. doesn't live in Ottenville or Siberia, Oliver says. France hates Ottenville, Hyacinth informed her siblings. So many squirrels. Dumb Biederman, exclaimed Jessie. Oliver stood up. We still have 3 days to convince him. That's not much time, Jessie said. The probability of success went way down after I messed up the last mission. No, Hyacinth corrected her. I messed up the last mission. It doesn't matter, Isa interjected. We can still do this. I had a really great idea when we were walking to get the Christmas tree. Listen. The kids leaned forward as Isa shared her idea. Then they stayed up for another hour making plans late into the night while the radiators puffed warmth around them. Dun, dun, dun.